tiny man. Don't you worry, it's gonna be alright. Sign the judge and jury, and we'll be up all night. You better check for pose. You better check for pose. You better check for
They are dead on that.
All in the blind spot that we don't see. Wipe the dirt.
It was earlier tonight. I don't
13, she had her 13th birthday party. She was happy that we were all together.
She wanted to walk the rest of the way.
You will hurt the ones that love you, and they will hurt you right back. Sing along, sing along. Our love is a heart attack. You better check the pulse. You better check for pulse.
Okay, everybody, welcome back to What's the Obsession, True Crime. And I wasn't muted. I was just like, come on. And I was calling one of my little bunnies over. I don't know if you heard me, but I'm so glad that you guys are here tonight. Happy Friday night. It is What's the Obsession date night. We try to do a live stream every Friday or Saturday night, and it is What's the Obsession date night. And I'm so glad you guys are here. So welcome to everybody who's here. And I'm sorry I didn't send out notifications to the mods and things like that. Tonight, we are going to be talking about the Watts case. I'm going to explain why in just a second. And we're going to be talking about Cervi 319. Everything, and it's such a hard topic to talk about because we all know roughly what happened at Cervi 319. It is a location, the oil field, where Chris Watts so disrespectfully discarded of his family members' remains. Shanann, in a shallow grave, she was just several inches under the surface of the earth, and Bella and Celeste each in one of those crude oil tanks. And we're going to get a good look at them. Don't you worry. I know it's a really hard topic. So the reason I haven't done a live in, over a week, and sorry I didn't send out the notifications to mods, is I have been working on finishing up the Watts case documentary that I've been working on for just about 2 years now. And guess what? As of today, it is finally done. It is uploading right now, guys. It's like 4 hours long. So get ready to snuggle in when you watch it with me tomorrow night. I am going to premiere it tomorrow night, Saturday, March 16th at 8 o'clock. So I really hope you guys can be there. So a premiere, if you don't know, it's like a live chat, but the video that I've created is what we're going to be seeing. Like, I can't interject and start talking live, but we can chat live, which is awesome, right? So we're going to be doing that tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Because it is so long, I am going to start it early. As soon as it's done uploading, and then uploads or downloads and uploads to YouTube, there will be a link for it. It will definitely start at 8 sharp because it's going to be pre-scheduled. I really can't stop it once it's scheduled. And I am so excited to share it with you guys and to see what you think. I've really tried to, put all of the best information in there and, have the best audio and video and everything else, because you guys deserve the best. So be looking for that tomorrow night, again at 8 o'clock. I'm going to be premiering the Watts case documentary that I've been working on for 2 years, and I just can't wait to get your feedback. So one of the topics that I didn't focus on a lot in the documentary was Cervi 319 itself. And that is because when you're telling the Watts story, getting to know the family, the crime, the family members of the family dynamics, the trip to North Carolina with Shanann and the girls, Chris Watts' affair, the crime itself and the investigation. There's only so much, that you can put in there because this case is very busy, as you all know. So I wanted to cover that topic tonight because I think it is worth discussing. And there are a lot of misconceptions about exactly what happened at Cervi 319 and what that's all about. Oh, but before we do that, I do just want to show you the introduction for the documentary that's going to be premiering tomorrow night at 8. And I really hope you like it. I'm kind of nervous. So here goes. Cuff You and Honey Bun watched like the first hour and a half of this the other day, and I got good feedback. So I'm pretty excited. It's better work. Okay.
Morgan, under the circumstances.
Here we go.
Words that come to mind when I hear the evidence in this case are a senseless crime and the viciousness of the crime. And equally aggravating is the despicable act of disposing of the bodies in the manner in which they were done in this case. I could objectively say that this is perhaps the most inhumane and vicious crime that I have handled out of the thousands of cases that I have seen.
Pregnant as well. How far along? 14, 15.
You're the woman that had an affair with this man who took out his whole family, and I didn't know.
Get a divorce. You don't annihilate your family and throw them away like garbage.
Well, one thing led to another, and 8 years later, we have 2 kids. We live in Colorado, and he's the best thing that has ever happened to me.
It just doesn't add up. So either you're this monster who says, I just want this young, hot girlfriend, so I'm going to kill everyone and hope it works out, or something.
Okay, so there it was. We finally got there. Yippee skippy. Yeah, deadline crime. I really want to find an alternative to StreamYard, but I feel stuck. So, all right, yeah. So I hope you guys like it. So that's the intro. And again, the Watts documentary that I've been working on for 2 years is premiering tomorrow night at 8, and I hope you guys can be there. I think it's going to be really fun, and I need some feedback on a lot of things from you guys because you guys are so smart and you have a lot to contribute to the story. All right. So, and hello to everybody who's coming in. I'm so happy you're here. Happy Friday night. And I see all of you guys. I'm not going to go through and say hello to everybody because that was a little stutter start to begin with, but I see you, and thank you so much for being here. Please do the YouTubey things, hit like, all that stuff, share the link if you can. And without further ado, thanks guys. Hey, I really appreciate it. And let's see. Cuff You has been a member for 14 months, and I love you back. And Curious Christine says, thanks for your hard work. Amazing. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Okay, so without further ado, and I'm going to have to be playing it from YouTube. And hey, Deadline Crime, I just saw your text too. I haven't been paying attention to my phone. I'm sorry, because I've been working on this documentary. I'm so glad it's finally done. It's like a big relief. All right, so let me pull this up from YouTube. I don't know why I pay for the premium StreamYard when it does this to me. I think I'm going to stop doing that. All right. What happened at Cervi 319? And certainly, with this topic, I would have to always say there is definitely a trigger warning. This is very, very difficult stuff to take in. Just, every time I just try to imagine like what Bella experienced, especially seeing what happened to her sister and being so scared after that horrible ride, an hour and 7 minutes from her home to Cervi 319 in the middle of nowhere. And we're going to see in this video what it looks like is, if she's looking out the windows on that drive. I'm sure it was terrifying. I just can't imagine what poor Bella experienced.
This video is going to take a look at Cervi 319, the oil site where Chris Watts infamously drove to from his home in Frederick, Colorado on August 13th, 2018, with his wife Shanann on the floorboard of the back seat and his 2 daughters, Bella and Celeste, also in the back seat of his work truck. Not only are we going to be taking a look at the drone footage of Cervi 319, but we're also going to look at the route that Chris Watts took to get to Cervi 319, the historical weather for that date, and some reports and other related news that is related to Cervi 319. I do want to let you know that this video contains sensitive information and viewer discretion is advised.
They found those children in tanks that were nearly full. And as I have learned from you, the full capacity of these tanks is somewhere between 600 and 700 barrels of oil. That's a lot. So let's just say nearly full is 500, correct?
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, the strange thing to me is openly available, you can find the production rate of that well. And at its best, it was producing about 200 barrels per month. So it leads me to believe that, you know, the oil probably wasn't completely drained out by whoever put the girls in these tanks. You know, they probably shifted the liquids from one tank over to the other one, opened, put it in, and then shifted the liquids back to the other side. That requires quite a bit of technical knowledge, and it does take a certain amount of time.
And let me stop you there,
operation.
Because that was my next question. Obviously, that.
Now, I know every time Kevin Bashnick, who is one of our moderators, and he is our resident oil field expert, as he has a job very similar to what Chris Watts does. He works on these oil tanks. He works in these fields. And you guys have requested him coming on for another live stream. We're going to do that in a few weeks. I'm sorry I haven't gotten back to you too, Kevin, but we'll do that in a few weeks. He shudders every time he hears this interview with Ashley Banfield because he's like, that is so not what happened at all. That's not even possible. So we're sorry, Kevin. And do know that what they're describing there is not what happened.
That drill site producing only, 200 barrels a month is not going to be able in 4 days. That's the time it took to find the bodies to fill even one of those tanks up to, 600-700 barrels. It would take 3 months to fill them naturally. So just thinking that through, if in fact the opening on the top, and again, I'll hold it up, is too small for Chris Watts to, as he apparently, according to the police, admitted, too small for him to put those children through, he would have had to do it from the bottom, which means the tank would have had to be empty or he'd have been gushed on by a full tank of oil. So you're saying that there's a pump that goes between those two tanks and he could pump one tank empty and put the, now there's the thief hatch. And I think that's your hand, Wesley, correct? Right next to the thief hatch at the top?
Yeah.
Okay, so we get a relative
that's my
size.
hand to give you scale. Yeah.
And that's at the top.
Yeah,
this is an example tank that's similar.
Yeah, that's part of what kind of bent my brain is, I really don't think you could easily get anything, and it's designed that way for you to not drop anything through that top hatch. They keep it very small, so 8 inches is quite small. That's what made me think you pretty much have to take that bottom manway open, and the standard design, there's 64 bolts. And you got to drain all of the liquids out to really, we have
a picture of that. Put the picture up of the bottom manway, because Wesley's also given us an example photo of this tank where he is standing next to the manway. This is the actual site. What I'd like now is the example site of the manway that Wesley shows us, if we can show that. It's called the clean out manway. There it is. And you can see Wesley's hand. Now you can see the relative size of that opening and all those bolts that would have to be opened, unscrewed and screwed back on. And clearly it is at the bottom of the tank. So it's going to have to be that tank's going to have to be literally dry. But Wesley, just in terms of the time, because Chris Watts was seen leaving his house at 5:30 in the morning. And he had to have some kind of an alibi to be working by 7:30, 8:30, or 9:30 in the morning. So there were and it's 45 minutes to drive there. So he didn't have an inordinate amount of time at this site to dig a shallow grave for his wife and then do all this work at these two oil tanks. How much time does it take to pump the oil between the tanks? It can't be the same as that forensic vacuum.
No, and I think you could probably do that within an hour, more or less, depending on how full the tanks were.
The drive from the Watts residence at 2825 Saratoga Trail to Cervi 319 that tragic morning took Chris Watts a little bit over an hour. And the first part of the drive is on Colorado Highway, and the second half of the drive is in a beginning to be desolate area, and then the end of the drive, almost the last quarter of the drive, is completely desolate without a single sight, a building or person in sight for miles. It's an incredibly eerie trip. The journey from Frederick, Colorado to Rogan, Colorado is about 37.5 miles and is estimated to take about 42 minutes. Rogan is a very isolated, very small community. In fact, the population is only about 440 people, and the size of Rogan is also very small. It's only 1.4 square miles, mostly spanning this vast, vast country land. It is, of course, an agricultural community right there in the community itself, although many residents of Rogan commute to wherever it is they go during the day, and that average commute is almost 30 miles. These are some of the actual dwellings that you can see in Rogan, and a lot of the property there, a lot of the buildings or houses are actually abandoned. There is a big production here, and these almost look like the oil tanks, but they're not. This is a wheat production center, and it's part of the agricultural center that basically is Rogan, Colorado. People who live there and in that area say that the weather can be changing. It can go from very, sunny and dry to very windy and treacherous, and it's seemingly a matter of moments. And because there's so little buildings, population, or anything going on other than this vast Colorado prairie land, you can look out your window or look east or look west and actually see where the weather is changing. So have you ever been in a place where it's nice and sunny and you look in one direction and you can see a storm or brewing? So people that live there claim that it's very much like that, but, amplified to what I think my experience is. Now, keep in mind that after you travel that 37 plus miles from Frederick, Colorado to Rogan, Cervi 319 is 9 miles past Rogan, Colorado from where Chris Watts was traveling. And those roads are all dirt roads, or just, as they're described in the Discovery, 2-track roads, which really means backcountry roads that really nobody travels. And you're not probably going to get very far on them unless you're driving a truck.
Yeah? Let's do it. Do a little hair. Ready? Set?
Cece, what's
Cece,
Daddy
I am
doing?
so sorry. When you're
Now, I just want to emphasize that this is the actual driving route to Cervi 319 from the Watts residence. And again, just imagine poor Bella sitting in that truck, and we don't know what state Cece was in at that time, and looking out the window and being like, where the hell am I? What is going on with my mom? It just must have been absolutely terrifying.
Okay, so let's turn to the weather at Cervi 319 on August 13th and August 14th, 2018. First of all, I can assure you that there was no precipitation on Monday, August 13th, 2018. But I just want to get to where we actually have something going on here, but there's no precipitation on Monday, August 13th. So let's take a look at Tuesday, August 14th, 2018. So you can see here that during the day from 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. to noon and all the way going up until just a little bit after 6 o'clock, there is no precipitation at all. And the temperatures were low as you would expect during the morning hours, spiked from 12 going up to about 3 p.m. and then slowly declined in the evening just as you'd expect. Now we see the spike. So you can see the blue line, that's precipitation. So we have a spike at 7 p.m. and then a decline and then another little spike at 8 p.m. So we can see that there was a decent amount of precipitation at 7 p.m. and then continuing for a while and a little more again at 8 p.m. Okay, so if you look at this next chart here, you're going to see that after the 6 o'clock hour, there were heavy thunderstorms being reported in the Rogan area. Now, these were heavy thunderstorms without any noted precipitation. So if you look at 6:53 p.m. and you look all the way over to the right-hand side, you'll see 0.3 inches of rain. And then again, we have another 0.1 inches.
Now, if you're wondering why the weather in Cervi 319 is important, this has a lot to do with, people speculating, how did Chris Watts pull all of this off? I know that a lot of people are of the mind that he did not have enough time to do everything that he had to do at Cervi 319 that morning. And so then the question would be, did somebody help him? Or was he there another time, setting up what it was that needed to be done at Cervi 319. It also has to do with, how, the evidence at Cervi 319 was found. Of course, if there was rain, if there was heavy wind and things like that, you'd expect the evidence to be in a different state. So these topics have been something that have been widely debated among people who closely follow this case and want to understand what exactly happened, with this crime, for a very long time. So that's why the weather is important.
And that is our rain event for Tuesday, August 14th. So another thing that is interesting here is how they note the wind speed. So you'll notice at 6:42 p.m., there's a sustained wind of 38 miles per hour. And prior to that, we had sustained winds of 70 miles an hour, 23 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour, 18, 13, and 17, respectively. Now, for a sustained wind, that's quite a wind. And 38 miles an hour sustained wind is pretty significant. If you look to the column just to the right of that, you will see that while there were those sustained 38 mile per hour winds, there were gusts up to 53 miles an hour. In summary, the following is the weather for August 13th and August 14th, Monday and Tuesday of 2018.
The weather was collected in Kinsburg. That is the closest historical weather data collection center. It is approximately 1.7 miles from Cervi Ranch. Historical weather records indicate no rain on Monday, August 13th, and moderate rain, 0.3 inches, on Tuesday, August 14th, 2018. These moderate rain continued for 30 minutes to 90 minutes and was followed by some sprinkles, shall we say. The winds were perhaps the more significant event, with moderate sustained wind from the hours of 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., with strong gusts of wind up to 53 miles per hour.
And why is discussing what happened at Cervi that day important and what's going on at Cervi and the drive to Cervi and all of that? Well, there's a few things. There's different theories on what really happened that day. And I absolutely believe we do not know the full truth as of right now. So the weather on the 13th and 14th very much relate to those theories. They can possibly prove or disprove some of the theories. And also something that is very important is understanding the experience of the human beings on that day. If Bella and Cece, Chris Watts' two beautiful little girls, were in fact alive on that trip from Frederick, Colorado to Cervi 319, This journey of over an hour in the back of that truck must have been absolutely horrifying. So now let's take a look at the recovery efforts per the discovery. Here, I'm reading from Dave Yuckum's report and the Chris Watts discovery file. An observation regarding Cervi 319. The Anadarko property is the leased property within the Cervi Ranch, which is 35,000 acre cattle ranch located in southeastern Weld County, Colorado. The leased property, known as Oil Tank Field Cervi 319, is used for extraction and collection and storage of raw crude oil from all local wells and pumps. The Anadarko well site was located approximately 9 miles north of Rogan, Colorado, along dirt roads and dirt 2-track trails. The site itself is a 3 to 4 acre property fenced with barbed wire and secured by a locked gate on the west end. The topography and geofeatures consist of sandy dry soil with sparse native vegetation and dry pasture rangeland for livestock. No structures other than oil collection tanks, pumping equipment, and agricultural infrastructure are visible in any direction for several miles. Within the fenced area are 2 large tanks approximately 20 feet in height and 12 feet in diameter. Each tank is equipped to hold approximately 400 barrels of crude oil, which is 16,800 gallons. Also within the site was a wellhead, pumping facilities, waste collection, and venting and pressurizing equipment. Within the site, numerous safety precautions and procedures are in place due to the toxic vapors and volatility of the crude oil gas. Anadarko, Day 1, August 15th, 2018. Due to diminishing daylight, auxiliary lighting was brought to the scene by Anadarko. Located to the south and east of the wellhead was an area that appeared to have been recently excavated and filled back in. The area appeared to be approximately 8 feet by 14 feet in diameter. Living foliage was observed partially buried under the uneven ground. Once the search warrant for the property had been confirmed to have been signed, a more thorough search of the property was done. Items of evidence located were collected and packaged by myself and F.S. Schroeder. Photos were taken of the scene with and without markers. Measurements were taken through the use of global positioning or GPS, polar coordinates, and a laser measuring device. Blue Star latent blood reagent was applied to the thief hatch and the tank after positive and negative presumptive tests of the reagent had been done with the expected results. No chemical luminescence was observed on each tank or the catwalk connecting the tanks. On the north edge of the excavated plot was a rusted rake head. The rake head had been placed with a handle attachment portion buried onto the ground. To the east of the plot was a wooden tool handle, as well as a piece of metal that was consistent with connecting a rake head to a rake handle. On the property were 2 plastic bags. One bag was located on the west of the excavated plot, while the bag was located to the south. To the south of the black plastic bag was a bed sheet. The sheet was fitted and consistent with the same pattern and colors of sheets I observed in the kitchen trash at the home of Saratoga Trail. As the search of the site continued, I observed several strands of suspected hair attached to the interior flange of the top hatch, the thief hatch, on the easternmost crude oil storage tank. After the collection of visible evidence, CMS Maloney and I began the excavation of the suspected grave site. Approximately 9 inches below the surface grade, CMS Maloney and I located the adult female victim believed to be Shanann Watts. The victim was in a fetal position with her knees pulled into her chest at the bottom of the grave and her feet directed up towards the top of the grave. Her chest and face primarily facing down into the grave, while her back was oriented up. Her head was towards the west, while her feet were towards the east. Her left arm was extended to the east alongside of her head. The victim was wearing a pair of blue underwear and a light colored shirt. The depth of the grave when the body was removed was approximately 27 inches deep. The Weld County coroner took possession of the victim at midnight and 20 minutes on Thursday, August 16th, 2018. All items of evidence collected at the Anadarko site on Wednesday, August 15th were transferred to Detective David Baumhover at midnight at 12:39 on Thursday, August 16th, 2018. CBI remained on the scene throughout the night as part of scene security. Scene processing day 2, August 16th. Images taken through the use of the drone were taken prior to the arrival of investigators and support personnel to the scene at approximately 7:30 a.m. At approximately 10 a.m. on Thursday, August 16th, the process of unloading contents of the tanks in search of the 2 juvenile female victims and other evidence began. Anadarko employees and their subcontractors began the process of unloading and emptying the tanks. This consisted of draining the tanks through a gravity-fed line at the base of each tank into a collection tray, which was 8 by 3 by 6 feet. The tray was then emptied through a 4-inch hose with the 3 8-inch strainer into a vacuum system attached to the tanker truck. Once the tanker truck had been filled and no items of evidence had been identified during the course of the draining of the tank and filling the truck was released with its contents from the scene. Once the tank was empty, entry into the tanks for body recovery could only be done by specially trained and certified personnel. Entry and recovery was done by the Colorado State Police Hazardous Materials Team through a side hatch located near the bottom side of the tank. Entry into the tank could only be done with the use of the self-contained breathing apparatus and full hazardous material protection gear. Atmospheric conditions as well as volatile flash points were monitored by Anadarko employees as well as the CSP Hazardous Material Team. Upon completion of emptying the tanks, a juvenile female believed to be Celeste Watts was found buried in crude oil sludge at the bottom of the east tank. The victim was recovered by CSP and was wearing an orange-pink colored shirt, shorts, and a diaper with no shoes or socks. After the recovery of the victim from the east tank, the west tank was drained under the same procedural guidelines. Again, found at the bottom of the tank in the crude oil sludge was the second juvenile female believed to be Bella Watts. The victim was wearing a pink multicolored shirt and shorts, no shoes or socks. The tanks were both searched for additional evidence by CSP. No additional evidence was located. The waste and over visually searched for additional evidence. No evidence was identified or observed.
So where you see the disturbed earth right here, that's where Shanann is buried, which is really eerie to think about. When this drone footage was taken, she was buried right there. You know, and it is, I mean, putting into perspective, you know, from where he parked his truck, it is quite a way to carry a 150-pound woman who's, you know, deceased and is, you know, just pure weight, right? I mean, it is pretty far. Like, I don't know what I think about this, really. I just don't know I don't know what to make of it. That's why I think we keep talking about it, you know. But if you look at this drone footage zeroing in, so here we are, you know, coming off the top of the tanks in the car. The truck was parked roughly right here by where you see this red gate. And then we travel all the way out into the field. There's no vehicle tracks, so he couldn't have driven his truck out there, right? You know, I personally think he had enough time that morning to do everything that he did. I know it would be tight, but there were, I think, 52 uninterrupted minutes. He got some. I think that, you know, with whatever frame of mind he was in, he just had this crazy, freakish, Herculean strength. This is just my opinion. I know that many people believe he did not have enough time to do everything that was done at Cervi 319. Hey, Val. You know, that morning. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that there was enough time? Now, I'm really curious about this. Hey, Sky Dreams, how are you doing? Deadline Crime says detectives did call Jim twice. It's just not in the evidence. So can you source this? How did you learn that? I've never been able to verify anything about that. So I just have to know when somebody tells me something about this case and I don't know the origin, I need to know more. Yeah, NRG says he is completely detached from reality with the way he ate that pizza. Completely agree. Yeah, when he ate that pizza when he was in being interviewed and / interrogated, and you know, Tammy was like, I just watched this part of the interview recently when I was making the documentary that is premiering tomorrow at 8:00. It's 4 hours long. Get your popcorn, get your drinks, get your get a blankie, snuggle in. But I'm really excited to share it with you guys. I've been working out for a long time, and I hope you're there for the premiere tomorrow. But I was watching that part of the interview when Tammy's like, do you want some more pizza? When his dad's standing there and he's like, well, yeah, sure, I guess. It's been like 8 hours really since I ate. Like, you piece of shit, you know, and they have to offer him pizza and drink water and whatever because they need to eventually in court, if it's contested by his attorney, they have to say, you know, we made him comfortable. He answered these questions. He answered the questions in this interview, you know, being fed. He wasn't starving. He wasn't dehydrated. He wasn't, you know, delusional because of all of these things, low blood sugar, whatever the case may be. So they have to offer him those things. Yeah, I'm eating pizza watching this. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So Deadline Crime. Where did you hear that about Jim? That detectives contacted him twice. It's just not in evidence. I need to know. Tell me, please. Edward, I'm going to order pizza. Oh, it's so funny. And welcome to everybody who's here. I'm so glad you guys are here. Oh, did you answer? Let's see. Scrolling through chat. I hope everyone had an awesome week. Happy Friday. My source from the DA's office, I can't give the name. It was in 2019. Okay. Gotcha. I got it. Yeah. Cuff you knows. We need to refer vetted sources. Yeah, I know that's my policy. Everybody knows that. Right? Thank you, Cuff you. Yeah, but you know, when it comes to this case, there is so much bullshit out there. So I do have this channel that is right now, at least, called What's the Obsession. I mean, I can't. You know, I feel like it has to be that way. You know, yeah. So, let's see. Jim got a lawyer and moved. Okay, maybe. Yeah, let's definitely talk privately. I'd love to hear about that. Hi, Charlotte Wheeler. Welcome. How are you? So now let's hear what I saw some of you in the chat saying that, you know, what Chris said about, you know, what happened with the girls at Cervi 319 was very vague. And, you know, and I totally respect your opinion. I personally don't see it that way. Maybe it is that way. But the way I always hear what he has to say about, you know, what happened at Cervi 319 is I feel like he's damn ashamed of himself, given the audience that he's talking to. And he's also trying to not give too much away because I think, by the time he's being interviewed and he does give up the details, he knows that what he did was absolutely horrific. And in my mind, that explains why he's so squirrely and maybe what sounds like a little bit vague. But I don't know. Let's hear what Chris Watts has to say. There's really nothing visual here. This is his 4-hour interview. The highlight of this video is the enhanced, the really enhanced audio. I think this is, well, it's mine, but I personally think it's the best version of the his interview. But at some point, I just stopped adding video because it was 4 hours, and it's just like, come on. So we just get to look at this douchebag.
Every day when Bella was talking to me on the site.
Oh, really? What do you mean?
When she said, Daddy, no. When we were driving to the site, she said, Daddy, it's not feel good. That's when I tried to carry her downstairs.
Shanann?
Did you carry her like this? Did you drag her? How did you do it?
Tempted to pick her up and take her down, but I lost grip after a little while. I just had to pull.
Did Bella see you do that? What was Bella saying?
She started crying a little bit. She's like, "What's wrong, Mom?"
Well, what'd you say that time?
It's just so good. She's a smart girl. She know what's going on there.
Mm-hmm. Did she ever touch Shanann? Try to wake her up or anything? No.
She didn't want to see her or ask to see her or anything. And so that initial time, did she see you put Shanann in the truck? So she was kind of following you? Okay. So she followed you and you put Shanann in the truck. Yeah. And then what?
I got Cece wasn't up yet. She was just in her room. She was getting ready to get out of her bed. And then they were just walking around the house. I was put my lunchbox and stuff in the truck, and then grab the kids and put them in the bench seat in the back.
Okay. So Shanann, is she kind of on the floor in the back? And they're just on the bench. Okay. And both alive at that point. Okay. Is there any reason you would feel uncomfortable to tell me that they were not alive at that point?
There it wasn't a video or anything.
It's hard to see. Okay. And I believe you. I'm just I'm trying to make sure that I'm giving you all the opportunities to be comfortable enough to tell me exactly. Okay.
They were alive.
Okay.
Trust me, I hear that every day when Bella was talking to me on the site.
Oh, really? What do you mean?
When she said, Daddy, no. When we were driving to the site, she said, Daddy, it smells.
Oh, okay. So that goes back to maybe Shanann evacuating herself.
I don't know if it was that. That smell like a skunk maybe sometimes.
Oh,
okay. I got some kind of smell that way, but I don't know what that was from.
And was that maybe outside the truck or was that in?
I don't know.
Okay. What did you guys talk about on the way out?
They were pretty quiet. They, laid next to each other.
Okay.
Maybe Bella in her lap and Cece in her lap, just back and forth.
Oh, okay. Just trading off like little ones do. Okay. Were they awake?
I think one would kind of fall asleep. Cece would kind of trade off back and forth.
Were they talking to you?
Just about, just saying, Daddy, it smells.
Oh,
it was early in the morning. They were showing up there.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you have to? So you didn't have to wake Cece up?
There's the noise from trying to get Shanann downstairs.
Did she kind of fall down the stairs?
No, it was more like trying to get her down and from the steps, maybe her foot the next step kind of thing.
Oh.
They're licensed.
So then once you get to the site, tell me what happens.
So I get to that one site and I get Shanann out to that. Go over to the part right off the site there.
Okay.
And the girls are still on the truck.
Okay.
Did they ask you what you were doing, taking mommy out, or?
Yeah, I don't remember what I told them, but they did ask them.
What they say specifically?
It was more of like, what are you doing to mommy?
Okay. And then is that when you buried her?
I didn't. I don't remember if I dug a hole there first or. But I don't. They didn't watch me do that.
Okay. So then pulled Shanann out. She's maybe just sitting there on top of the ground.
Yeah, like off to the side.
Off to the side, close to where she ended up.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And then the girls, right? Okay. You mentioned Bella was first. Cece was first. Okay. Where exactly was she when it happened?
In the back seat.
Okay. Was she just right next to Bella?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, so once again, was it a hand over her face? Was it?
It was a blanket over my hand.
And then your hand. Okay. And then, so that just stopped her from breathing type thing? Okay. Did she struggle at all?
I don't think so, but I was blocking her face and my hand was right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You had one hand here and one hand over her mouth?
And we're just pushing her against the back of the seat type thing? Okay. What was Bella doing?
Sitting there next to her. She didn't know what was going on.
Okay. Could she see you? Okay. And then did that take a minute or two?
Didn't really, nothing. I didn't have no concept at the time at this point.
Okay. Tell me about what you were thinking.
I was thinking it's what would happen.
Yeah.
Or any partial hint of what I feel for those girls and what I feel for my wife, but none of this would have happened. So I wasn't thinking.
Okay. So she's in the back seat. Okay. And then once she's gone, then is it Bella next, or did you pull Cece out?
I pulled Cece out.
Okay, so once Cece's gone, Bella's still there in the car alive, and then you pulled Cece out. What'd you do with her? Okay. So she went into the tank, and Bella was still in the back of the truck alive. With regard to that tank, did you bring up Cece, put her down, open the hatch?
Brought her up, opened the hatch.
And put her in. Okay. When we talked the very first time we met, and we were talking about this, it was a matter of just lowering her down. Okay. And so she went in feet first. Okay. Was she able to fit pretty well? Was it snug?
I think so.
Okay. Did you have to move her around a little bit and get her in there?
I think so.
Okay. All right.
I didn't have to hit her
okay,
like that.
It's not like you stomped her in.
No.
Okay. And then close the hatch.
Yes.
Okay. And then went down to Bella. Tell me what happened there.
She said what happened to Cece. Or she asked, it's the same thing, the exact same thing that happened to me as Cece.
Did she ask you that? Okay. So Bella's pretty smart. How did she sound when she asked you that, Chris?
So that soft voice she always had.
What exactly did she say?
Said that it's the same thing that happened to me as Cece. And then I said, I don't even remember what I said.
Yeah.
I don't know if I just said yes, like a horrible person, or if I just put that blanket over her too and did the same thing.
Same blanket, same way?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She said, no, Daddy. And that's the nice thing she said.
Did she say no, Daddy, please, no, Daddy type thing? Did she say, don't do it?
She said, no, Daddy.
Okay. Same way, hand on neck, hand over mouth, or hand over blanket with the double mouth? Okay. Did that take a couple minutes?
I like it.
Okay. Then what?
I just noticed she had a couple spots over her eye or something, and I picked her up. Same thing.
And we talked a little bit earlier today about it. You don't remember why a different tank? Okay. And there wasn't a reason.
They're both same tanks. I mean, they're just like I don't know why the two different things.
There's one. I never got up there. Does one catwalk lead to both?
Oil can go into either tank.
Okay. But if you go up one set of ladders, does that eventually indicate you?
It's one catwalk.
Okay. Now Bella was a little bit bigger. Was she harder to get in?
It felt like a little bit.
Okay. And so was it a matter of just kind of maneuvering her? All right. So then they're both in there. Is there any reason to think they were alive when they fell in? Okay. You're pretty sure. Okay. So once that's done, then what?
Go over to Shanann. Clear away some weeds and dig a hole.
Okay. Did you have a shovel?
Yeah, we have a shovel, a rake, and a weed whacker as part of our tools.
With that rake, if I remember right, it was
part of it sitting there because it was broken.
Oh, did it break as you were digging or something?
No, when I was rake without like smoothing the ground over.
On this day, it broke when you were doing that. Okay. Was that after you were all done? And it seemed as though maybe the first people that got there saw it was stuck in the ground.
I guess it was like not like standing up, but it was like laying down.
Oh, okay. Were you planning on coming back?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah. At this point, then, this is just before then. In a couple of hours, you would make it back home to see Officer Conrad. Okay. And so once she's buried, then
that's when people start showing up, I believe.
Did you notice, was she cut or broken or bleeding in any way?
No, I mean, I know like the bloodshot eyes you were talking about. I noticed that at that point.
Yeah.
Other than that, no.
Had she partially given birth?
No.
Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember. Remember, she had a shirt and think blue underwear on.
Okay. That's it. And so at that point, she was okay. Thank you. I know that wasn't.
Can you tell us about, obviously, when the district attorney got up and talked about Bella's injuries and stuff?
I didn't want to hear about that.
Right. Can you tell us about that?
As far as like her biting her tongue?
And
can you imagine how disgusted those investigators must have been when Tammy says, so what did you think about when the DA was talking about Bella's injuries and all of that? And he just goes, yeah, I don't want to hear about all of that. They must have been like, F you, dude. We had to see their bodies being extracted from those crude oil tanks after being in them for over 2 days. F you. You don't want to hear about it, douchebag? I just like that just enrages me when he says that. He's like, yeah, I didn't want to hear about it. It's your doing, dude. Like it's, yeah. Yikes.
ripping her frenulum, which is that connective skin from your lip to your gum, it was gone. Her gums had it looked like a hole in them. And the pathologist said it was from her obviously struggling to get away.
I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
Could it be that that's what happened?
So I didn't put my hand over her like that. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, it would have been just downward pressure on this area.
I didn't see any of that when I get back up. It was like her lip was missing or something?
No, see the skin that connects there? That was ripped. It was gone. So it kind of made a hole in her gum.
I'm just thinking maybe it's if her hand was it was twisting back and forth. Could that have done that?
Yeah.
I had a blanket. I don't know.
Did you feel her doing that thrashing? They were trying to get away.
I felt her head moving back and forth.
You did.
But I didn't know that.
Could you tell if she was trying to yell or say anything or?
Only thing was Daddy no, and then like some grunt here and there, trying to breathe.
During that time, do you remember getting phone calls from Cole Atkinson?
Now, what is not captured in his description of, what happened with Bella? I could feel her head moving back and forth. She said, Daddy, no, I could hear her grunt a few times. It would have taken him about 5 minutes of holding that blanket over her airways for her to eventually pass away. And apparently, from what I understand from doctors who have spoken about this, because I'm certainly not qualified to, she would have been struggling and fighting for her life for a good portion of that 5 or so minutes. I mean, guys, like it's just like horrific. And, I saw some comments saying, he's not answering the questions. He needs to be led to answer them, like as though he doesn't know the answers. And you might be right. Like, I don't know what happened precisely at Cervi 319. Nobody knows for sure. It really is very much a mystery to everybody because there are clearly some things that aren't being told there. It seems to be some missing pieces, right? But I feel like the reason that he's not just giving up information freely and he needs to be led to give the answers to the questions is because he realizes how horrible what he did is to everybody else in the world. And I think he's embarrassed, to say what really happened, as he should be. He should be embarrassed and so much more, So I think he's trying to give them as little as possible. This is just my perspective, because he's in a really uncomfortable situation. Remember, until Tammy Lee, Graham Coder, and Dave Baumhover came to Dodge Correctional Facility in February of 2019 and interviewed him, everyone thought, and the district attorney said this is a trial. He told Shanann's family this. They were under this impression until this interview happened, that all 3 of them, their lives were taken at Saratoga Trail. And then all 3 of them were transported to Cervi 319 in the truck. This is how the story goes, the official story, all deceased. So these investigators, for the first time now, are learning that apparently is the story he's telling, that Bella and Celeste were alive with their dead mother under their dangling feet on the floorboard as they sat in the back of the cab of his truck and drove all the way the 42-mile trip that took him an hour and 7 minutes for some reason. I know there's a lot of back roads, but anyway, that's how it is. It's just so horrible. So imagine being them and trying to take all this in. I mean, it's shocking. Even worse, imagine being Shanann's family and learning this 3 months later because the district attorney and the investigators didn't fully do their job and investigate this case properly and did things like I was in Patty Productions Live earlier, a great channel that covers the Watts case. I'm sure many of you know him. If you don't, definitely go check him out. And he was talking about we've talked about many times here, the refused evidence from the Colorado Bureau of Investigations on September 8th, 2018, just a few weeks after this happened, when they refused to analyze all of the evidence that was collected inside of Chris Watts' work truck. If they had analyzed it, they would have known definitively who was in that truck. If it was just the family members in the truck, or was there somebody else in that truck that day? We would have known for sure. Oops, I'm sorry. My chin keeps hitting the mic. I hope you heard most of that. I'm not going to repeat it. And we also would have known if they had analyzed that evidence that had already been collected in the work truck, if his family members who were in the truck, if they were alive or deceased. This did not need to be a mystery. They chose for it to be a mystery and then misrepresented the actuality of the commission of this horrible crime to the family members, the victim's friends, and the world. Like, something is very, very wrong with that. And then there's Jane and the dog. Yes, cuff you.
After, before she got to my house or after?
Just any time during that morning.
I think I didn't get one until I saw her on my doorbell camera.
That was what, 10 o'clock?
Yeah, I was right over there.
Okay. And so at that time, had everything been done out at 3319?
Yeah, I was at a different site at a pumping unit.
Okay. So you went from there when it was all done. So girls are in the oil, Shanann's in the ground, and maybe a little bit of cleanup? Was there any questions we had about the sheets or any garbage cans or garbage sacks?
No, he answered those already.
So then you went from that site to another site to work?
Yeah, because there was this, at that Cervi 319, there was a little spill. That's where most everybody showed up there, because that spill that was there, trying to figure out what happened.
Oh.
While you're on that subject, we back up. The night before, you had some text messaging about going out there. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that was, I think, Friday that we had figured out there was a spill out there from it's an old site. It's set up a little different. So what had happened was there was a downcomer, and then there's a side comer going into the oil tanks, and one of the downcomers is tied into a back pressure line that split. Every time it was dumping oil, it was split underground, and the oil was coming up out of the ground. And we decided just to go out there on Monday because it was Friday, and he had switched it out, or either he shut it in or switched lines, or he covered it up and seen if it was going to come back or not.
Okay. And then it's more specifically, you text about how you would go out there and take care of it.
I was going to take care of it for him because I've gone out there plenty of times.
Okay.
But I used, when another guy was out there, as far as another foreman, he showed me around out there a year or so ago, and I just got familiar with the place and I just oiled them out.
Okay.
And so that was a genuine,
that
wasn't pre-alibi.
But there's a lot of people that said that you wouldn't normally do that.
Normally help somebody?
No, a field, your position, not you specifically, but your position doesn't do that kind of stuff.
Well, that's the thing. When I was a rover and to a field coordinator, I still try to do everything I used to do.
Okay.
That's still I wasn't good at delegating stuff. I just used to just do stuff on my own, or just taking care of it for somebody else.
Right.
I wasn't good at the whole hey, you go do this, you go do that, while I sit over here.
Well, you see what it looks like to us.
I know. It's
when I came up, we're making plans to be out there, that day.
But that's not what it was.
I was no. I was going to help them.
So how long were you there? What time do you think you were done with the girls?
Hard to really tell. I mean, I think everybody started showing up there by around 7:45, 8 o'clock.
Okay. And then you were there. Did you think you went to a different site?
Yeah, it's I think it was either the 1029 or the 629 or something like that.
And so how long were you at that site?
The rest of the day until I got called away.
So then that was.
I just want to read this comment and clarify this really quick. I see you guys talking about this in chat. So NRG says, yes, but remember he said they woke back up. So that's why I thought they were all sleeping. So when he says they woke back up, and he says this a few times, I think what it is in reference to is what he told Sherilyn Cadle in one of his letters to her that she publishes in her book, Letters from Christopher, which is that not only did he murder his daughters, he in his mind, he murdered them twice. When they were at the house, he tried to end their lives at that point, and they woke back up, and he was angry that they woke back up. And that's one of the reasons that he put them in the oil tank so they wouldn't wake back up. So when he says they woke up, what he means is he thought that he, suffocated the life out of their little bodies. But no, he didn't do it right, like many things. And they woke back up, he says. I think Bella did wake back up. He describes her looking horrible. She had black eyes after he tried to do this the first time. And I personally think Cece woke back up and that she was alive. She was breathing. Her heart was beating. But I think that he deprived her of oxygen to the point where that she was brain damaged, basically. So that's why, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, he doesn't mention Cece talking at all when he talks about the truck ride, the ride from Saratoga to Cervi 319. He doesn't ever, assign something that was said by Cece or verbalized in any way. Or even any activity to Cece gosh, I keep hitting my mic. Sorry. When he's talking about, what happened, at the house or in the truck ride there, it's all Bella. And I think that's because Cece was alive, but she was unable to speak. That's just my opinion. Really sad stuff, really hard stuff. I know.
You were there for at least a couple hours until you heard Nicole Atkinson on the doorbell.
Yeah.
And then I think there was even more time after that until you started coming home.
Yep.
And you got home at 2 something?
No, it's closer to 1:30.
So somewhere around, 9 o'clock-ish, all the way till 12:30 or 12 or 1 or something. And then came home.
Yep.
There was a lot to do about coming home and listening to that Metallica song. Have you heard about that?
I've heard of Metallica song that people have been, someone sending lyrics to it, Help Battery.
Do you remember doing that?
That was Nikki Passenger. She liked the song, or she just wanted to know what it meant.
Oh.
So
that's why you looked it up.
I just kind of looked at I didn't have the CD with me, so I didn't, I just kind of looked at the words.
And was that on the web?
Now, what do you guys think about that? So Coder asks him, so what's up with this? We saw on your phone that while you were still out in the field before you came back home that day after Nicole Atkinson called him, you were looking up the lyrics to the song Battery by Metallica, who's his favorite band. And the lyrics are absolutely eerie as it pertains to what he was doing that day. And he says that Kessinger was texting him, asking him, what do these lyrics mean? Do you guys buy that? Because if she was on that day texting him, asking him about the meaning of the lyrics to the song Battery, and for those of you who don't know, those big oil tanks are called oil batteries, then, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that she knew what was going on, right? Like, that's like that coincidence would be like, like lightning striking 10 times in one place, right? What do you guys think about that? Rourke doesn't do interviews except with his wife, and boy, does he know how to stick his foot in his mouth. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I would pay a lot of money to interview Rourke. Deadline Crime says, I can't get that to pin it, but he avoids talking about Cece entirely. Yeah. Horrible. Damn, I keep commenting. Like, Edward, I said to you when you said, you'd tune into live stream if I interviewed Rourke, I said that would be my dream come true. I would destroy that man, I promise. I keep commenting to you guys, and StreamYard is not showing my comments saying YouTube rejected your comment. This usually means they think it's spam. Try changing it a little bit. Dude, it's my channel, YouTube. Back off. YouTube and StreamYard suck tonight. Jeez. Okay. There's no way that coward confronted anyone. And I'm not sure what you're talking about, but yeah, he is so cowardly. Oh my God. Absolutely. Yeah. Let me read a few comments here. Let's see. Whoop. Damn. Everything is really hard on here tonight. Let's see. Can I pin that? Yeah. Okay. Maggie Bridget. Hey, how are you doing? So great to see you. It says, I don't believe that Chris Watts unalived Bella. I think someone else did. In my opinion, Chris Watts was shocked that Bella fought. Yeah. A lot of people do think that. I think he did, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Let's see. Pink Diamond, welcome. How are you doing? Says the song was like a signal to each other. Yeah, I kind of have that thought too. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I know how to verbalize it, but there's something weird about it. So let's see. Valerie, welcome. How are you doing? Says, I agree with that assessment about Cece. Chris Watts is very clear and able to talk about the details of his work, not so much about emotions. He can barely talk about the last moments with his kids. Yeah. Let's see. I'm sure Rourke watches me. I don't know if he does, because I think that I would have gotten some kind of like some like sort of a YouTube strike against me if he did. Yes, Edward. We all do agree. StreamYard sucks. Damn. It's not other choices though. Yeah, and welcome if you're just coming in. Please do hit the like. I really appreciate it. And for those of you that weren't here earlier, I just do want to let you know that tomorrow night at 8 p.m., I'm premiering the Watts Case documentary. It's 4 hours long. I've been working on it for 2 years. I'm really happy with it. I, put in the best of all of the best for you guys. Everything vetted, fact checked. It's in 4K. It's with boosted enhanced audio. Some of the mistakes that sometimes I can make in videos, there's none of those in this. Oh God, knock on wood. And I'm really excited to share it with you guys. So tomorrow night, Saturday, March 16th at 8 p.m. I hope you can join us for the premiere, which is just like a live stream. We can chat and everything, but just a little bit different.
By home? Oh, that was just a different time.
That was a different time.
Okay, and so the media is big.
Coincidence because it's a battery. Right. But it's like, it's more about like a family coinciding as a battery. Not like, hitting somebody. Sure.
Yeah.
Why did Nikki want to know what it meant? How did that come out?
No, it was kind of strange. I mean, she's very into different types of music, and I mean, music I never really thought I'd ever listen to, and like she got me into a few things there as far as music wise, but like battery was something that she asked me because I knew Metallica pretty well. She just wanted to know, like, hey, what's this the lyrics mean? And I just looked it up just to look at all the words together and just put it in my head again, and all good.
I just have to wonder if she really did want to know those lyrics. And again, if she did, that's pretty crazy. Let me read the lyrics to you. And by the way, it's not about a family coinciding as a battery, like he says, Mr. Metallica fan. Battery is the name of the street that Metallica had their first, did their first gigs on or something like that. It goes back to like their roots where their OG fans all came together. And it's about that. It's about their roots in performing and, the OG fans that were with them. So this is how the lyrics go. Lashing out the action, returning a reaction, weak are ripped and torn away. Hypnotizing power, crushing all that cower, battery is here to stay. Smashing through the boundaries, lunacy has found me, cannot stop the battery. Pounding out aggression turns into obsession. Cannot kill the battery. Cannot kill the family. Battery is found in me. Crushing all deceivers, mashing non-believers, never-ending potency, hungry violence seeker, feeding off the weaker, breeding on insanity. Smashing through the boundaries, lunacy has found me, cannot stop the battery, pounding out aggression turns into obsession, cannot kill the battery, cannot kill the family, battery is found in me. Circle of destruction, hammer comes crushing, powerhouse of energy, whipping up a fury, dominating flurry, we create the battery. Smashing through the boundaries, lunacy has found me, cannot stop the battery. And then again, it repeats the chorus. So, pretty I don't know. So do you guys think that NK really asked him that, or he was just looking it up because he was relating to it at the moment? Oh, I'm so glad you guys are excited about the premiere of the documentary tomorrow. You're going to be there. I'm so excited about that. Can't wait. I've worked so hard on it. Let's see. Yeah, Scott, I'm having a hard time pinning your comments, guys. I'm sorry. Sky Dream says, yeah, she's into whatever he's into. Metallica is who Chris likes, right? Yeah, I like cars, and I like car museums, and I like drag races, and I like yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's lying right where? Where was he lying? Let's see. Can we listen to the part again about the song? Yeah, sure. Let me just go back a little bit. So again, this is him saying that NK asked about the song Battery, and well, you'll hear him say what he has to say.
Yeah, right over.
Okay. And so at that time, had everything been done out at Cervi 319?
Yeah, I was at a different site, was at a pumping unit.
Okay. So you went from there when it was all done. So girls are in the oil, Shanann's in the ground, and maybe a little bit of cleanup. Was there any questions we had about the sheets or any garbage cans or garbage sacks?
No, he answered those already. So.
So then you went from that site to another site to work.
Yeah, because there was at that Cervi 319, there was a little spill. That's where most everybody showed up there because that spill that we were trying to figure out what happened.
Oh,
While you're on that subject, we back up the night before you had some text messaging about going out there. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that was, I think, Friday that we had figured out there was a spill out there from it's an old site. It's set up a little different. So what had happened was there was a downcomer and then there's a side comer going in the oil tanks. And
I'm sorry, no deadline. Crying just wanted to listen to the part about the song Battery again. And when a video is like 4.5 hours, like this one is, to go back just a short bit is really hard. So I went back too far. Let me see if I can get more precise here.
I sit over here.
Well, you see what it looks like to us.
I know. It's really
when it came up, we're like making plans to be out there, that day.
but that's not what it was.
I was no. I was going to help them.
So how long were you there? What time do you think you were done with the girls?
Hard to really tell. I mean, I think everybody started showing up there by around 7:45, 8 o'clock.
Okay. And then you were there, or did you think you went to a different site?
Yeah, it's like I think it was either the 1029 or the 629 or something like that.
And so how long were you at that site?
The rest of the day until I got called away.
So then you were there for at least a couple hours until you heard Nicole Atkinson on the doorbell.
Yeah.
And then I think there was even more time after that until you started coming home.
Yep.
And you got home at 2 something?
No, it's closer to 1:30 around there.
So somewhere around, 9 o'clock-ish, all the way till 12:30 or 12 or 1 or something. And then came home.
Yep.
There was a lot to do about coming home and listening to that Metallica song. Have you heard about that?
I've heard of a Metallica song that people have been, someone sent me lyrics to it, called Battery.
Do you remember doing that?
That was, Nikki got some buries. She liked the song, or she just wanted to know what it meant.
Oh.
So that's
why you looked it up?
I just kind of looked at I didn't have the CD with me, so I didn't, I just kind of looked at the words.
And was that on the way home? Oh, that was just a different time.
That was a different time.
Okay, and so the media
coincidence because it said battery, right. But it's it's more about like a family coinciding as a battery, not hitting somebody. Sure.
Yeah.
Why did Nikki want to know what it meant? How did that come out?
No, it was kind of strange. I mean, she's very into different types of music, and I mean, music I never really thought I'd ever listen to. And she got me into a few things there as far as music wise, but Battery was something that she asked me because I knew Metallica pretty well. She just wanted to know hey, what's this the lyrics mean? And I just looked it up just to look at all the words together and just put it in my head again, and all good. Just made something out of nothing. That's what was strange. I got those lyrics in a letter.
Oh, so now does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah, someone tipping the lyrics to it.
Yeah.
Like that guy from California.
Oh, the kid? The senior?
With regards to then when you get home, you and the officers, saw what they saw. You mentioned that you took the ring off her finger. And then the book, did you throw that in the trash? Okay. There was another book, Body of Evidence. Does that sound familiar?
That you had in your cell.
A body of that Church of Cornwall.
Maybe. That's not right.
Probably.
Did in Will County.
Mm-hmm.
What was that about?
That was just one he gave me.
Who gave it to you?
The deputies.
Not your
or
attorneys, or?
Oh no, they couldn't give me books.
Oh.
No, any book that I had was given to me by their book cart that they had.
I'm just pausing this for a second. And just for those of you who do not know this, I have this video audio enhanced interview of his up, and check this out. Look what I did for you in the description section, because I love you. Timestamps for every topic he talks about. 547, Dodge versus the Colorado prison. 944, Watts on letters and fan mail. 1220, Trent Bolt and Amanda McMahon. 1510, Mistress Nicole Kessinger, where, when, and how we met. 1855, Kessinger knew Watts was indeed married, and so on and so forth. So let me check my little, oh shit, I stopped it. Damn it. I stopped it right where we're at. Why didn't I finish the rest of it? I didn't know I didn't do that. Well, we're going to see. Seems like a lot of you are listening to this. So I'll keep playing it and see what happens here. If you want me to. Do you want to keep listening to this? Let me know in chat.
You didn't ask for that book, or
No, they just kind of give me like, hey, I read some Brad Thor books. He's like a military guy. And Patricia Cornwell, my grandma always read her books and thought it was, she loved those books. And I'm not sure if that was probably one of the first books, not the first book I read there, but probably the second book I read there. But it was like they gave me, here's 4 books, choose.
What other book did you read? Do you remember?
The first book they gave me when I was in Suicide Watch was, I don't know why, but Murder at Something. I was like, I looked at him and like, that's the one we got. I'm like, okay. But,
They handed you that book by itself, no other choices?
the next book I got, another guy that was, I guess they're overcrowded there. A guy was sleeping on a cot outside my door. He's like, here, try this one. It was one that was based like in the 1800s. It's more of like a.
Okay, so you're talking about books. A little boring, but that's okay. So, good question, J.M. Wagner. Welcome. Is it possible to get recent telephone calls, call recordings, or visits? It would be interesting to hear him now. Wonder how much he's changed. So the answer to that is Dodge Correctional Facility, where he is, living in prison now, does not release inmate phone calls. They do periodically release the people who are entered on his visitor log or his, allowed visitors, but that's really all we get. I would love to get those phone calls. But I've tried a few times. I know other people have too. But it's their policy. They're not changing it. And they're actually kind of snotty about the request.
Like a situational book, like a time period book. So that was a little more calm with that one. That was the first book they gave me.
You don't remember what it was called? Murder at Something?
We were at Truman Center.
Truman Center?
Yeah, I think it was, I remember at Kennedy Center. I think it was written by Margaret Truman.
Did you read it?
Mm-hmm.
Was it good?
It's decent. I'd never read a book in a long time, so it was different. But like some of the books they gave you, like when you're in the hold, you're not allowed to have books in there besides the Bible, but the counselors there let me have a couple of books, and they just here's one to choose from. That's one they had. I told them like mystery books or something like that, and that's the ones.
Okay. It's kind of crazy they're giving them like murder books.
You hope that it wasn't some sort of insult or, you can only hope. Okay. What do you think of yourself now?
I don't know. Back when all this happened, when I was in Will County and everything, I definitely didn't feel like myself anymore. Like when my attorneys would talk to me and talk to some of my friends and like some of the stuff they would say, like I would say good things, but I'm just thinking to myself, how can anybody even say those things about me now, being what happened? It's like people that I knew that I never talked to again, that maybe I was like the roommate back in the day or went to school with or something like that. Now they're just gonna say that's say Chris Watts, that's guy with the high school with the guy he did all this horrible stuff to his family. Now I know I shouldn't really take to heart what other people think about me so much. It's just a matter of what God thinks about me, what he thinks, what his opinion is, not anybody else's. But everybody's gonna have their opinion about everybody. Before I got in trouble, I was always the guy, hey, look, they're judge somebody on TV, that guy that's no orange judge. That guy that's, that killed that guy. I got that raped that somebody. And I was like, oh, that guy's horrible. Now and it's like, now like when we come out at like 6 o'clock at night and there's something on the news, like I try not to even pay attention to it. It's like, I don't want to be in that position where I'm judging somebody else. Because that's, what people were doing to me. I don't want to be that person anymore. But I just hope that I can, step back, kind of look at everything that I've done in my life. And then like up to that point, and just like I did some good things, but matter of the most important thing, I screwed up the worst. And I just hope I can at least maybe help somebody. And however much time I have left.
Was it your intent the whole time you were taking the girls out there that you were gonna do that to them? Honestly,
like when I got there, I didn't think it was gonna, like you talk about the tanks and just
yeah. Like, well, just
I mean, the thought process and all this, none of this makes sense. That's why I know you guys keep asking these questions because it doesn't make sense to me.
but I guess I mean, like, did you could have done it before you guys left.
I know.
And not had him, alive in the back seat. They could have been with Shanann in the back seat.
I didn't think about anything really, like as far as like how everything was gonna happen. I don't know like why I left everything out there in the field and why like all this stuff. Like none of this makes sense at all.
But to Tammy's point, did you think that they might be coming back, or did you know they wouldn't?
Oh, the whole trip out there, it was like I was on, like I wasn't thinking. It was like, in my mind right now, I'm thinking back, I'm hoping that I wasn't coherent enough to make that decision to where I knew I was going to kill my girls. I'm just hoping that, like no father would ever want to do anything to hurt his blood flesh, but I did that, and I just don't understand how it happened. So I even read books that say, like no dad would ever do anything to hurt his children. This happened. So I always think of myself like, was I even a dad at one point? I don't know. But it's just gonna take a long time to heal and everything to get understood.
Have you asked for forgiveness from God?
It just takes a long time for me to forget myself. And that's one thing that's not doing well. So that they can one day forgive me too. Stay with
And I think you said earlier that you were so angry at Shanann or whatever that you were gonna, anyone in your path of destruction or whatever was gonna get it. Basically, that is what kind of made it sound like. I'm not saying that exactly right, but why were you so angry at Shanann?
I don't know if it was just because of separating me and my family, pretty much. Because it happened at the wedding. Like that's the reason they didn't come to the wedding. I blew up at my family, to a point where I said some horrible things to them back in 2012 that I pretty much told my family that I don't need them anymore because I said I cussed my mom out. I did all this kind of stuff. I never thought and I don't know if it was just like Shanann coaching me on to do it, or if it was just like rage that was like I'd never seen before. And then I don't know if it was just everything that happened in July, but they can't see my kids, and I'm not sure if they're ever going to go see them again. I don't know. And it was just like, I don't know if that had something to do with it, that something inside me just triggered it. And it just like all that pent up from the wedding and everything, just like, it's like a long fuse that finally just went to its end.
What happened in 2012?
There was my mom and Shanann, just like from when I proposed to her, it was at the beach, and from then on, it was just like she always went up to Shanann and was like, I didn't need a ring like that when I was your age. I didn't need all these fancy things when I was your age. And just kind of kept boiling over and boiling over, and we never agreed on anything. It was just like, we didn't really need their help to do anything. We just like, so we'll just pay for it ourselves and all that kind of stuff. And it was just back and forth. And I think maybe my mom just never thought she was good enough. She always thought she was hiding something from me.
She always thought Shanann was hiding something? Like what?
Stuff from her past, or like,
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So there's conflict at a barbecue when all the families got together. And the first, maybe a barbecue that Shanann put together for everybody to get to meet each other. Two families, we call that. Like when you first started dating.
Oh. I remember we did have something like that, but I didn't remember like any kind of arguments at any place like that. I know like when I proposed to her, Shanann had her family come down to the beach too. They stayed at a separate house. But as far as like a barbecue or anything, I don't remember one that was like that.
Right before then.
Yeah. I remember the time when I asked Frank to, it was okay if I asked Shanann to marry her. Remember that little get together. I don't think.
So then what was the blow-up at the wedding about?
It was just my mom and pretty much my sister just don't like her.
Oh.
Because they just thought, that Shanann had taken me away from them and moved me out in Colorado.
Oh.
Because we were in Colorado when we flew back to get married.
Oh, okay.
Because we went to Colorado for Thanksgiving to visit some friends. And we decided to move out there like a couple months later. Okay. So that was like April. I moved out there April 2012. We got married in November 2012, North Carolina. So they always thought I was just taking me. And she took me away out there. And then
There's something with invitations or something. The sister is supposed to send invitations.
yeah, there was, okay, now you're bringing some memories back. There's something to do with that. And then my sister wanted, her kids. My sister wanted her kids as like the ring bearer and like something else. Ring bearer and flower girl. And then Shanann told her no, either Shanann told her no or Jamie backed out because of something else. And then it just like all blew up.
And is that pretty close to the wedding?
Yes. Yeah, a couple of them.
Did they go to the wedding, your family?
My grandma did.
But your parents and your sister did not go.
Ronnie wasn't there either?
I just have to say, I think it's so weird that his parents didn't go to his wedding. I don't care if my son was getting married. I don't care how much I hated his fiance, and which I don't think I would. I just feel like no matter what her personality is, if that's what he chooses, like I'm going to figure out a way to deal with it because I'm a grown ass adult and I have those skills and that ability. Right. But, even if I really had a distaste for her, I just can't imagine not going to the wedding. Has anyone here, not gone to their child's wedding because they didn't like the person they were marrying? I that's so extreme to me. Every time I hear him talk about that, I can't help but think about this.
Nobody was there. My grandma was there, and then like the dance when the groom danced with his mom, I'm dancing Mark's mom and my grandmother.
It's sad, isn't it? I mean, it all comes from a place of love, them loving you and not wanting to get stolen. And
it was a great day. I mean, everybody was really happy. I mean, it's always just rang in the back of my head. They were never there, and every time they look at pictures, and just like, oh, where's out there? Never knew if they actually were going to come anyways, but as far as like, sometimes they'll just like, all right, we're just gonna go just to be there. But they never knew if that was the case.
So then when Tanya was asking, why were you so mad at Shanann? It was part of it, just this whole family strife.
That's the only thing I can think of right now, because I mean, there's no other reason really to be mad at her. We took care of each other our whole 4 years. It was like a good relationship. I mean, it's just like, if I never met Nikki, would I ever have, thought our relationship was bad? Probably not.
Interesting.
That's one thing I always thought about. Like, even Nikki asked me, like, if I don't want you. She said, I don't want you to leave your wife just because of me. I'm just like, what do you mean? She said, well, just if you met me, like, would you have known? I'm like, nope. I never thought I would have strayed away from her at all. Like, I've never tried to follow anybody, But
Was Shanann checking your phone, or
she always had my phone.
she was checking your phone? So how did you get past that?
I used her phone.
To text? And you had some secret apps, right?
That was on my personal phone.
Were you using anything else to have contact with her?
I just texted her with my work phone. And like when Shanann, the kids went to North Carolina, I just used my personal phone. And she just told me like to put pictures in an app, and I just found that calculator. I just put, just searched on the app store, like hidden pictures, and that's the calculator app person popped up.
Like in your iCloud or your whatever isn't linked together, so she would know if you're getting it, downloading apps and stuff like that.
They used to be a long time ago, but when we got different phones, or when our phone contact list be synced up from the cloud and stuff like that, I couldn't have, like, she had like tons of like phone contacts. I just couldn't have all that, but it's still kind of linked up at one point. But as far as like, she asked me to get my own iCloud account just to kind of free that up a little bit.
How about your Facebook account? You deleted that at some point. When did you do that? And
I
why?
think it was, got back August 7th. Went to work. I think it was probably August 8th. That's when Nikki told me she told her friends about me.
Okay, listen to this. I put this in a couple of my recent videos where I went over the week before the murders, and I made one video just all about August 8th. Yeah, reporter room. You can go rip off that whole video and pretend it's yours. That's cool. I don't mind. No problem. That's right. Reporter room. But they're talking about them getting back from North Carolina. He's like, it was August 7th. He remembers the date. Dave Baumhover asks him, like, so you deleted your Facebook account. Like, what was that all about? Like, when did you do that? Why did you do that? And he's like, he knows. He's like, it was August 8th. It was August 8th. It was the day after we got back from North Carolina. Now listen to the reason that he gives for deleting his Facebook account. You got to listen carefully.
And I just figured, they probably looked me up on Facebook and see that she was pregnant. After Nikki already found new.
She was checking your phone?
Sorry, I had to go back a pinch there, so it's coming right up.
So how did you get past that?
I used my work phone.
To text? And you had some secret apps, right?
That was on my personal phone.
Were you using anything else to have contact with her?
I just texted her with my work phone. And like when Shanann, the kids went to North Carolina, she used my personal phone. And she just told me like to put pictures in an app, and I just found that calculator. I just put, just searched on the app store, like hidden pictures, and that's the calculator app person popped up.
Like in your iCloud or your whatever isn't linked together, so she would know if you're getting it, downloading apps and stuff like that.
They used to be a long time ago, but when we got different phones, or when our phone, like her phone contact list be synced up from the cloud and stuff like I couldn't have like she had like tons of like phone contacts. I just couldn't have all that, but it's still kind of linked up at one point. But as far as like she asked me to get my own iCloud account, just to kind of free that up a little bit.
How about your Facebook account? You deleted that at some point. When did you do that? And
I
why?
think it was got back August 7th. Went to work. I think it was probably August 8th. That's when Nikki told me she told her friends about me. And I just figured, they probably looked me up on Facebook and see that she was pregnant. If Nikki already knew probably already, but pretty glad I did that.
Did you and Nikki ever fight?
We never fought, but like I said, I had to like calm her down a bunch of times.
Yeah, you started to mention that when we were talking to your report about her getting upset about some video or something about being.
Shoot, I was muted. Damn it. Sorry. Mute button. That's my fault. So he says that, he deleted his Facebook account on August 8th, the day after they got back from North Carolina, because Nikki wanted to tell her friends about him. And they didn't want the friends to know that Shanann was pregnant. Not just that, Nikki had a boyfriend who had a wife, but that the wife was pregnant too. Like, damn, Nikki, you're a piece of trash. Whatever. But he says, and they said, well, what about Nikki? He said, oh, I'm fixing that Nikki already knew. So he's saying, that she already knew about the pregnancy, but we know that. And if you don't know that she knew that for sure, watch any one of my, 3 recent videos I made, because I pound on that point often, because it's important, because she claims the entire basis for her destroying the evidence in her phone, anything having to do with Chris Watts, is because she found out that Shanann was pregnant only on August 14th, the day after the murders, and she had no idea before then. Well, knowing that she knew since day one is important, because then we know that her basis upon which she lays her claim, this is why I deleted all those text messages and destroyed all that evidence, is completely false. So what is it really, Nikki? What is it really? Really?
Bipolar or
Well,
what are you talking about?
I think either my dad told me about that or Don Walsh told me about, like, she made a couple videos, like when she was just like, talking to herself, saying that she was bipolar or something like that. But a lot of things, like when she realized that, okay, like she's the other person in the relationship, that I'd always put my wife first over her, and that's what kind of made her take a step back a few times, and then like I had to kind of like calm her down.
Tell me about those times. What'd that look like?
So the first one was probably around July 4th when I had to leave her house. So because she wanted to kind of spend most of the day together before she went to like a baseball game or something. And like when I had to leave, it kind of just made her like kind of take a step back and wonder what she was doing. And I just, told her like, hey, just because of what's going, like, just because I had to leave doesn't mean like, you have to just take a step. I was like comforting her at some point. I don't even know why I was doing it. Maybe I knew I was too far gone at that point, but it was.
This is Shanann's pissed. She's called you 10 times. You were sleeping.
Yeah.
You took your day off.
Yeah.
And then you go outside to talk to her on the phone and then tell Nikki that you need to go home just in case she calls back and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what did she say to you, Nikki?
She was in the shower. She said, okay. And then that's like, when I talked about, I calm her down. She's on the phone.
And was she like, we're breaking up, like we're not gonna?
No. She said like she didn't want to, like she didn't think it was safe or it was good for us to see each other anymore that day. like the rest of that day, just because of
Now, what really happens then is after that, Nicole Kessinger shows up on his front doorstep after he goes home, which is very interesting because this is on July 4th. According to everything we can see as records, they started like seeing each other in person, dating on June 26th, the day that Shanann took off to go to North Carolina. So this is just a little over a week later. Kessinger, according to all accounts and phone records, had not yet been to his house. She lives 25 minutes away from him. So how did she even know where his house was to show up on his front doorstep? Now, the version that she tells law enforcement on at least 3 or 4 different occasions during the course of her interviews is that Chris invited her there that day because he needed to like tighten up his macros. Like he's trying to lose weight, but he like you really need to like dial it in and like, you know, I'm like the macros pro. I'm like, yeah, we ate chicken and carrots. Yeah, but he invited me there. No, he did not, bitch. You're a psycho stalker and you showed up at his front doorstep. How'd you even know where he lived, girl? Crazy. But, you know, just one example of a proven lie that Kessinger tells law enforcement time and time again with a great deal of confidence in herself as she is telling that lie. And if you guys haven't watched Veriscope yet, awesome channel that uses a method of forensic linguistic analysis to detect deception. You know, we've done a number of live streams, including his material. He's amazing. He's been doing the Kessinger interviews. It's freaking brilliant.
with all that. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Then she asked me to come over like later on after she got back from her baseball game.
And so you did that?
Mm-hmm.
So what was the second one like?
It was basically about the same thing. She was, you know, I didn't really know it at one point, but I guess she had set up a couple dates with like some eHarmony app or something, and they never showed up. And she'd already made plans with me, and you know.
Wait, what do you mean? She set up dates when she had plans with you?
Yeah.
Why would she do that?
I guess she kind of figured out they weren't going to show up. She went, I guess when she went to the baseball game, they never showed up, and there was another one and never showed up either.
So she's actively dating other people while you guys are together?
So like, a couple of weeks later.
How did you find out? What'd she say?
She, it was one conversation where I actually kind of fell asleep on the couch, and then like she had told me like, I'm not sure why she even told me about it, but it was very random, and she could tell that it kind of like took me back a little bit because I figured she would have told me that if she was actively still like looking around. I mean, she didn't have to tell me, but I figured she.
Do you think she told you though so that it would hurry you up and
make a decision?
You're making a decision?
It might have been, but no, it's. She never had anybody that actually tried to like fix things as far as like, you know, hey, like I like where we're at as far as like the relationship goes, and actually like I did stuff for her around the house, around her little apartment. Like, nobody's ever done that. She just thought it was different.
What about our male friend? Where does he stand with her? What's his name?
Jim.
Thank you.
He worked in the oil field, North Dakota, I believe. And I guess he's been a friend of hers for a long time, and it's kind of like a shoulder cry on. Is always somebody that's always been around for her. And I guess he's had a couple girlfriends, and just, I guess he's not hadn't had much luck, I guess, in that department as far as like keeping girlfriends, and just him and Nikki have always been good friends.
Just platonic friends.
That's
far as you know,
as much as I knew.
Yeah.
But I think they just been friends for a long time, especially up in oil field, North Dakota, or whatever he's working now. I think either Wyoming, they go all over the place.
When Sandy and Frank lived in the house.
So Valerie says, she thinks that that Tammy Lee really wanted to interview NK. Well, the attorney for Shanann Rusick's family does say on Dr. Phil, after he does this interview and the Rusicks learn what really happened to poor little Bella, and that's just also horrible, but we're not going to go back there again, that the reason that these three went to Dodge Correctional Facility to question Chris Watts was primarily to see if there was any ground to pursue additional charges related to this crime, or if, he really was a lone wolf in committing this crime and there was no basis to pursue additional charges. So, essentially what he's saying is the main purpose for them going there, I think they wanted a psychological profile on him too. I can certainly see where that would be valuable because of the unique nature of him as a criminal. He does not have a typical criminal profile, as we all know. But I think, just a stronger reason was to see if there were, if they were certainly considering pursuing charges against Nicole Kessinger, and they wanted to see what kind of information they could get from him. I think particularly Graham Coder's line of questioning and returning to direct questions about Nicole Kessinger's knowledge of what happened before, during, and after is poignant and, shows that was one of their main objectives.
15 months. What was that like?
It was, it was tough. Do me wait or
no?
Okay. It was tough, because go from just me and Shanann and Bella and Cece to 2 other people, and then 4 dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, Onyx is a piece of terror, 100 pounds of just heat-seeking missile everywhere, and it was. It was cool having more people around, but it was stressful.
Yeah.
Because with Shanann, having 2 dominant personalities in the house, and with her mom there, it was kind of what her mom would tell her kind of how to raise kids sometimes, or do this, do that, whenever they were sick, she'd like, all right, rub peroxide on their feet, it'll be fine. Just what? It's okay. And I wouldn't do it, and, saying everybody just do that, it's okay. But it's just little things like that, and it was a clash every day.
Yeah.
It's kind of every time I got home, I didn't know if Shanann was pissed or if she was okay. Because when they first got there, they didn't have a job yet, and so they were just around all the time. But then once they got jobs and stuff, I think it was a little better for Shanann because they weren't around the house all day. But it was definitely stressful, just
Because when Shanann's parents came to live with them for 15 months, although they were there to support Shanann through her pregnancy and to help take care of, the new baby when Cece was born, and then, the 2 little children, the Rusicks paid rent the whole time they had to work because they paid rent in Colorado, and then they had their expenses back home.
Vacuuming every other day.
Yeah.
And it's cooking was great. I was awesome. But
She's a good cook.
I was always because they were down in the basement, so I was always really trying to keep the girls upstairs while they were sleeping. So they're running around downstairs, and I didn't want them to wake up. And I know Frank always told me that waking up Sandy early is not good. So it was just just kind of walking on eggshells a lot.
Yeah, it was stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think that stressed your marriage with the time, or?
It was 16 months. It was 15, 16 months. Yeah, it was a long time. It was great around the holiday times because they were already there, and all that was great.
Sure.
Yeah, it definitely. We never really had much alone time.
Yeah.
You always had to kind of plan it out. So.
Yeah. What was their purpose for living out there?
They just wanted to be closer to the kids. Because they're, we FaceTime a lot, but it's not the same as
Right.
But 2 kids, hard to fly back and forth. When they went back to North Carolina this past time, it was the first time Cece had been there. She was 3.
No.
First time her brother ever met her.
So were they trying to move to Colorado permanently, or they
were thinking about it at that point in time.
Okay.
But Franklin stayed. He didn't want to leave. Sandy.
She wanted to go back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a matter of they knew their house wasn't being taken care of, and they wanted to go back, and because they had put their house up for sale for a little while, but never bought.
What about your financial stresses?
Yeah, the bankruptcy was something I never thought was going to happen. I think that was back in 2015, 2016.
Yeah, guys, I think we're going to wrap up after he talks about the financial aspect here. And again, if you are heading out, good night, Deadline Crime. Remember, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. is the big The Watts case documentary that I've been working on for 2 years. The big 4 hours long. And I'm so excited to share it with you guys. I really hope you can be there tomorrow. And we're going to be giving away some memberships, some Patreon memberships and YouTube memberships and other stuff to say thanks for being there and being part of the community.
But I never thought that was going to happen. And I never thought a lot of it was from the wedding because we just put it all on credit cards. And so it was, and then the doctor bills from like, endoscopies and just like girls were seemed like they're sick like every month. It seemed like some type of ear infection, which to figure out was just like,
Really the bulk of the medical bills, and I'm just saying, I'm not saying this for any reason, but I'm just like adding some little facts as I go along here. Chris really was so not knowledgeable about their finances whatsoever. I mean, he didn't even know how to get into the bank accounts. But the bulk of the medical expenses was from Shanann's neck surgery. It was an elective surgery not covered by insurance that cost, I think it's in one of the financial records. I think it was like a total of like $34,000 or something cash that we don't have. Sure, I'll get that elective surgery with that $34,000 of cash that we don't have.
with the tubes and hairs and stuff. There's like different operations here, a couple overnight stays in the hospital for breathing and stuff like that. It was just, it all mounted up. I mean, I never thought it was that far gone, but
Was any of that from Shannon's neck surgery, or are those bills pretty well paid up?
Well, I think the bankruptcy never touched the medical part of it because you have to be like by the medical part of it, medical bankruptcy, and then there's like regular bankruptcy.
Oh,
I don't think bankruptcy ever touches like student loans or medical stuff. You have to be specific to that.
Okay.
But I think it just took away like a lot of the furniture that we had bought, and then a couple other things inside the house. Kind of alleviate a lot of the, we had to make the house payment on my phone every month.
It paid for tens of thousands of dollars of Thrive products that they temporarily footed the bill for, and then the bankruptcy and taxpayer dollars came in and swept that right up.
And I had to listen to the bankruptcy spiel like every time, and it's just like I didn't know how long it was going to take. But apparently it was, once you're in bankruptcy, it's pretty much you never get out of it.
Yeah.
I think I felt like.
Weren't you guys behind on your mortgage?
Earlier, and it's like
3 months behind, and the bank was going to foreclose on them any day.
I think December 2017, and then January, February, March 2018. That's when I took we took the 401k out, the loan out to pay for that.
How was it?
But the 401k loan did not pay for the mortgage in arrears because the mortgage was still in arrears. The $10,000 out of the 401k paid for Thrive. I just want to be clear on this. This is a well-researched topic by this channel, and that is what's up. And I don't think Chris Watts knew. I really don't think he knew any of this.
He was spending so much money forward and think down.
Kids and just other bills that we had, and I knew the car was getting paid for by the bill. I never really asked. I didn't even have access to the bank account in my phone.
Oh.
So I never really asked to see what it looked like how far. But I just know she'd call me and tell me, "Hey, can you pay the mortgage today?" I'm like, yeah, cool.
If you want to know the real deal about their finances, watch my video on the Watts family finances and MLM Thrive, and you will get all of the actual deets that Chris Watts apparently didn't know about his own financial sitch.
That was, from my little four-wheeler incident where I sold it without actually paying it off yet, and she thought no, you're never touching the account ever. So I'm like, okay, that's cool with me. But I never saw the account or what was in there. I just hey, there's my when I worked along my Ford, I got my check, I just brought it there.
Yes. There was a hair care company, I think it's called Monat. Does that ring a bell? You know anything about that? Like maybe hair dye. I don't know. Looks like do you know if she did like an auto order to that company and had stuff delivered? For her, any kind of hair care product with her true dye?
That's something. I mean, she had like little. There's something like a little gift pack she had delivered like once every month or once every 2 months. Had like a different array of different.
Monet is another MLM, and I know this because when I was involved in MLMs, I bought Monet from a person, and she bought my shit because we were trying to support each other's useless MLM endeavors. And it was a $40 charge for the company Monet and those hair products that was declined. And then the early morning hours of the murders, showing just exactly what kind of destitute financial situation the Watts were in fact in at that time. It was severe.
Products in it.
Don't remember where it's from.
Like we said, Monet.
Monat. MONAT. No.
Well,
there was an order that was made like 251. That's why I asked if it was like an auto order type.
It might have been an auto order. Yeah, it might have been something that I know that Nicole Atkinson, she's sending all that stuff. Maybe Shanann got her. Maybe Shanann got her something, or maybe it's something she recommended.
Okay. How about the HOA thing? What happened there?
She was mailing it to the wrong address. They changed their address, and she'd mailed it to the wrong address for a year. And then we got a letter in the mail where he didn't like sued over it. We had to pay our HOAs for a year. So we had to pay.
I just have to say this. There is this like Facebook page or whatever that posts a lot of things about the Watts case and Shanann, really great pictures and stuff. I'm not saying anything about them. I'm not going to mention who it is, but they recently were all up in arms saying, oh, people are getting the facts wrong about this homeowners association thing. You know, they were behind in their homeowners association because their homeowners association fees were $700 a month and they were not. They were $73 a month. And they were over 1 year. They simply did not pay the homeowners association, which meant that they could no longer do things like take the girls to the swimming pool. Notice how there's pictures of the girls in the swimming pool at their, in their neighborhood when they're younger, and then all of a sudden there's not. So it's things like that. And I mean, man, this is $73 a month. All the money they were spending on bullshit, but to, ignore your mortgage, ignore your homeowners association fees for over a month when these are your next door neighbors and you're living right in it with all these people giving you the side eye because you're screwing them over. Man, that was like not a good way to live. I mean, I feel like their lives were very, 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 very stressful.
Double for either a whole year or a couple months. That sucked.
What happened to all the money that's sent to the wrong address?
Don't know. I don't know.
See, so there's an example of the story that Chris was being told. He said, oh, she was sending the check to the wrong address for, all of that time, and they just didn't get it, but she was actually paying it. Well, first of all, it was over a year. I think you'd catch the drift after a while. And also the homeowners association knows where you live. So, they could just come and tell you that's just not realistic. And so Dave Baumhover calls him out on it. He's like, what happened to all the money, for the checks that were sent to the wrong address? So you should have, like $900+ in homeowners association fees for checks that didn't get cashed because you sent them to the wrong place. Where's that money? So yeah. Okay.
They said they wouldn't credit it or anything. I'm not sure what the address was. She said it was just something that she didn't see. And I was like, well, I wasn't gonna harp her about it because she did so much. So I was like, I'm not gonna deal with it.
Yeah, I'm not going to give her a hard time about the homeowner association fee and the lie she told me about it, but I am going to strangle her to death. No problem. Fucking weirdo.
I'm doing. Don't need that. I know she felt bad enough.
So, Chris, what do you think we could have done better? What could have made you tell us the truth that night? What did you need to hear from us that you didn't?
Not really. I'm not sure what really goes through people's minds when they're in an interrogation room. For when I was in there with you and Graham, I was just nervous. I knew I had done something wrong. And I knew you probably already knew or you wanted to find out. And it's just like, I've watched enough, it's like TV shows to kind of see like, okay, what's going to happen next type thing. Never knew if that's right. But I think it's just the horror of like knowing what you did and trying to tell somebody else what you did. That's what kept me from doing it, because I didn't even want to admit to myself that I had done anything. So I knew what I had done. I knew how bad, horrific it was. I knew how bad I was going to hurt other people. I just couldn't even admit to myself that I had done it, because I couldn't even tell my attorneys I did it until like 2 weeks later.
So were you trying to save us from the horror of it, or
it was just a matter of I couldn't admit to myself. How could I admit it to you?
So do you think any amount of us asking you things different ways would have helped, or do you think anything would have helped?
I think if maybe you didn't ask Bella.
No, Tammy, the Reed technique worked perfectly fine. Look where he is now.
If Shanann hurt the kids, you would ask the other if something in that a different order of question, maybe it would have came out a different way. Because that's the only reason I went with that story, is because that was.
Well, you weren't giving us anything.
I know.
That's the problem. But so if we would have said, what do you think?
You would have said, I think you'd have probably had to, if the video didn't show them in the truck, you probably had to have lied and just said, we saw the kids in the truck. I hate to say you would have to, lie to get me to say what you wanted me to say, but it might have been that.
That we saw the kids in the truck.
When we were talking, there was a point where you just said, "Can I talk to my dad?" You just want to tell him first.
I just wanted to, tell him that, that I loved him and that it's probably the last time we're going to see me again, as far as, outside of a cell.
You looking forward to it coming?
Yeah, because we're just talking on the phone, it's just totally different when you see him, see a face, It's like when we got on that little video conference in Love County, it was like, that was all I could do, just not to just break down on that phone. So it'd be good to see them.
What do you get to do when they're here?
Like this.
Like in a room like this with a
If there's a visiting center, like down in my unit, and I don't know what it looks like, but I know they said it's like tables.
All right, guys, I don't care to reflect on their shitty ass investigation. But no, I'm going to end this because we all need to get a good night's rest, because tomorrow at 8 p.m., the Watts Case documentary is premiering on What's the Obsession. And bring your popcorn, your burnt grilled cheese, your vino, your hot chocolate, and your Snuggie, because it's 4 hours long. And we're going to be giving away YouTube memberships and Patreon memberships to people who are there, just to say thank you and just to say thanks for being part of the community. And yeah, I can't wait for you guys to see it. Yay! And we don't have to deal with StreamYard. That's pretty awesome. I like that. Yeah, NRG says that Chris Watts type will never tell you the truth if it makes him look bad. He even says, lie to me to force the truth out of me. That's insane. Right. Yeah, no, that's a great point. Yeah. He's really all about how he appears to others, and it's funny because, Shanann is all about appearances in one way and he complains about that, but he definitely is too, but in a much more like passive pussy whip bitch person kind of way. Excuse my language. Awesome, Karen. Always love it when you're here. So let's see. Oh, yes. Head over to What's the Obsession Discord after the live stream. Cuffy will leave a link. Also, check out our Patreon. Patreon memberships are super much appreciated. It really helps support the channel. And we do some like kind of informal, more casual, fun lives together where we can just chat. And, you know, I'm easier to get a hold of on Patreon and things like that. And moderators too. And there's also case files and exclusive content, including on this case. And some videos that I made about what I really think about fill in the blank that I can't post on YouTube because I would be lynched. Let's see. Disciples of the Corn, welcome. All I wonder is, when did Chris become a psychopath? Because I don't believe he just snapped out of nowhere. Well, so an interesting distinction between psychopaths and sociopaths. I'm sorry, I don't mean to correct you. I just can't help myself. I'm a behavioral therapist. It is believed that psychopaths are born and sociopaths can be nurtured, not natured, you know, created, so to speak, or sociopathy can develop throughout life. It's strongly believed, based on some really good data-based research spanning over time, a range of geography and demographics of subjects, that psychopaths are born. So when did he become a psychopath? Well, he probably either was born one, or he is a sociopath or a person with sociopathic tendencies who, in my opinion, disguise them with his passive pussy whip bitch personality. And, I think that a combination of the stress in his marriage with Shanann, things like Nutgate. I think Nutgate was a huge thing to him, and feeling like she was taking his family away from him again. I think that really set him off. And then, of course, the influence of Nicole Kessinger, the, mistress de jour, set him off. I mean, I guess we could kind of call that snapped, but I think it was more like a culmination of circumstances that unleashed his sociopathic, already existing but latent tendencies. That's just my opinion. Good question, though. I mean, yeah, that question, it's a good question. Like, what the hell happened to this man, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Valerie, thanks for becoming a member, my friend. Why did he have to kill his daughters? I know, it's horrible. And I think the answer to that is Nicole Kessinger. She was giving him a lot of pressure about him having a family and her not being part of it, wanting to give him his first son. And I think that, I think that, although she probably said to him that, the kids, they're fine, whatever. I think it just wasn't acceptable to her. And she made it known and kind of like mind game ways to him. And I really think that's why. Because I do believe, to the degree that he can, given his like personality constitution, to the degree that he can, to the degree he's capable, I do believe he loved his children. I do. I really do. I truly do. But clearly he loved himself and his hedonistic desires more. Cuffy, can you post a Discord link? Yeah, I will, because, man, this man sucks. I mean, sucks isn't even the word. Sucks is like a joke of a word for him, right? But, oh, good. I'm glad that made sense. I kind of felt like I just went off on your very fair question. Good. Let's see. Gigi says, I think Chris Watts had deep negative thoughts he never said out loud. I agree with you. You can see, NRG says, you can see how he cowers towards women. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Tommy's girl, I always make that mistake, I'm sorry, says, do you think it was because they walked in and saw him hurting his mother? Do we really believe he tried to hurt them first? I do believe he tried to hurt them first. I do. It's just very consistent. I don't believe everything Sherilyn Cadle says, or that he says to Sherilyn Cadle. But he does say in his interview here, in his interview in Frederick, Colorado, that the girls woke back up. And it's like before we learned about that, it's like, what are you talking about? They woke back up. I do think that he tried. Yes, I do think that happened. I do think Bella walked in on him. I don't think Cece was capable of doing so. But I think it was going to happen anyway. That's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Let's see here. So there's that. Pause that. All right, guys. So we are going to head out, but I'm going to play for you the documentary intro one more time just to get you excited for tomorrow night, 8 p.m. I hope you're there. I really want to hear what you guys think. I think there's a lot of things to have good discussions about. And yeah, get your popcorn, your burnt grilled cheese, a glass of wine, hot chocolate, a bottle of water, and your Snuggie, and be there. Love you, StreamYard. Love you. Make me do things the weird way.
And so the court.
Wait, this should be in 4K. I want to make sure it's on it.
And so the court is going to accept this plea bargain under the circumstances. Words that come to mind when I hear the evidence in this case are a senseless crime and the viciousness of the crime. And equally aggravating is the despicable act of disposing of the bodies in the manner in which they were done in this case. I could objectively say that this is perhaps the most inhumane and vicious crime that I have handled out of the thousands of cases that I have seen.
Pregnant as well. How far along? 14, 15 minutes.
You're the woman that had an affair with this man who took out his whole family, and I didn't know. Like, I
Get a divorce. You don't annihilate your family and throw them away like garbage.
One thing led to another, and 8 years later, we have 2 kids. We live in Colorado, and he's the best thing that has ever happened to me.
It just doesn't add up. So either you're this monster who says, I just want this young, hot girlfriend, so I'm going to kill everyone and hope it works out, or something.
Ta-da! Oh, hey, for you guys who are here, I just want to also, if you don't mind, show you my current thumbnail. I perseverate over thumbnails. I just have to tell you on this channel, and so I talk about this with Cuffy sometimes. I think it's to a fault. I use zero AI, zero. I think AI can be helpful sometimes, like making thumbnails, coming up with outlines, things like that. But I'm having a hard time integrating it into my life. My brain wants to do what my brain wants to do. And like, that's that. I don't know. So I make all of my thumbnails like from scratch, like every single piece, every single thing in my thumbnail, the color, the placement, the font, the pictures, like I put it in there myself. It's all like homemade. So I want to see what you guys think about the thumbnail, because I do want it to be like very eye-catching, because I put so much work into this thing. So let me show you that. Let me know what you think. Honest feedback is appreciated. Okay, there it is. Lay it on me. What do you think? I see I need to move some of the over there. I have to move a couple things a little bit there now that I'm seeing it bigger, but oh wait, hold on. Let me take the banner off. How did it even come up? Weird. I didn't put that on. Okay. Ta-da! Comments.
Awesome. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, I see blue. You get nothing but what? Why is StreamYard being such a jerk today? Damn it. Hold it. Why isn't it letting me share within StreamYard? That's so weird. What the hell? Okay, just one second. I'm gonna do it another way. Oh, good Lord. Freaking StreamYard, man. Killing me. If anybody ever has a suggestion for a different streaming service, please let me know because I am ready to take the leap. I just can't find one that has like what I need. I just can't. I can't. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Don't want to do it anymore. All right, hold up. If you have to go, I understand. But if you're still here, just a minute. All right, here we go. I should be able to do it this way now. Gosh, so freaking. Sorry to like complain, but I just come on now. All right. Let's see. Now I can share it the way I shared the YouTube videos, the weird way. Let's see. Okay. Can you see it now? Oh, good. Okay. Oh, good. Oh, weird. That's so weird. Okay, so refresh if you can't see it. Awesome. It's fine. Okay. I think NK's coloring is strange. You know what? It is. You're right. You're right. I used a filter on that, and then I didn't use it on the rest of them. It looks like NK hit it with her broom. No, seriously, let me know. Aw, thanks, Gigi. I appreciate that. Let me know what you think. Like, seriously. Like, I stare at these things for so long, I don't see it. But now that you're saying hers coloring strange, I agree. I'm going to change it. If NK was looking at Chris Chills, oh, I can turn her around. All right, I'm going to turn the bitch around. I was kind of thinking like she was glaring at Shanann and the girls, but yeah, we can turn her around. Yeah. She did. She always dressed them so cute. My God, imagine how much all those outfits cost. But she did dress them so cute. Yes. Okay, what do I need to change in the thumbnail? Help me out. Help me out. Everyone focus. You have a job to do. I'm just kidding. Chris using coffee grounds for contouring for the Friday night date in the cell. That's so funny. Oh, I don't know why that cracked me up, but that's great. Chris Watts has a black eye. You know what? It does kind of look like he does. All right. Maybe there's like a little too weird coloring there. All right. All right. So maybe I do need to change the color filters. Yeah, that's a really good picture of Shanann and the girls. I don't mind NK being a see-through kind of creepy color. It matches her. Looks like a smoky eye. God, I'm so glad I showed you guys this. That's not what I'm going for. Oh my God, that's awesome. Okay, so aside from the coffee ground contours and the smoky eye, does it like eye catching or the colors okay? Like that's what I need to know. That's one of the things I need to know. It needs to be eye catching. That's so funny. Oh yeah, well we can turn her around and see here. I can even do that and show you what it looks like. If you want to stay for another minute, hold it. Oh, wait, here. I'll show you like the program I use and such. Piscart. Art. Okay. I don't even know how to say this. Piscart. Pixar. Okay. Pixar. I was flop. I've never said it out loud before. Okay. Okay. Open editor. And then I'll share this page. Thanks for your feedback. Thank you, Anna Bees. Nice to see you also. It does look like a smoky eye. That's so funny. I love it. All right, here. Okay. So now we go to YouTube thumbnail, and then we go to my existing files. And then we scroll down. Whoops. See all these existing files I have? Oh, look at all these thumbnails and such. And then, oh, for the documentary, I was making the like pages of the discovery, like higher contrast, darker, thicker font, so you can actually read it if you choose to. See all this that I do for you guys? Oh, there, I started with this. Oh, this was the first picture of him that I used. Is this better than the coffee ground contour smoky-eyed one? This one right here. What do you guys think? This one right here. Maybe I'll swap it out, see what happens. Copy. Oh, look, little baby Nico. District Attorney Rourke. Why do I have so many of him? Pieces of other projects. Brian Koberger. Ann Taylor. Broken Plea. Some color scheme I liked. Bella. Oh, yeah. Oh, see, I did all this great stuff for you guys for the documentary, for your viewing pleasure. Like, for example, when I was showing the Facebook posts, let me make sure you guys can see this. Okay. So rather, like you would just have imagine like a Facebook post, and you can't really see the picture and also read the font. So I put the picture next to like Shanann's commentary and a split screen, and then I enhanced the font and the contrast so you can actually read it. See how much I love you guys? Did all that for you. That alone took hours, but I don't mind, of course. I just want the best for my true crime friends and family. No, what is going on here? Just want to go down, down, down. I don't know what's going on. Okay. I'm just seeing lots of pictures of the girls sleeping. Yep, got those. All part of the documentary. Crosses for Caleb Flynn when I did that thumbnail. Okay, that's enough of that. Okay. Back up to the topic at hand. I have over 20,000 images in this thing. I cannot believe it. It's too much. Okay, my files. Done. Replace. All right, let's see if we can swap you out, Watts. Paste. Allow. Do we like it? Do we like this version of him better? I got to put him in the right layer, though. Yeah. What does he go behind? Okay. There. Do we like that one better? Do we like that version of him better? I need your feedback. Or do we like the coffee ground smoky-eyed Chris Watts? What am I paying you people for? I'm just kidding. Thank you for any feedback you do offer. Oh, and then we have to turn around Kessinger here. Oops, she's layered. She's stuck way back there. I'm gonna flip her, see what that looks like. Brr. All right, now, okay. So now we put in a different Chris Watts. Let me know which one you like better. And then we flipped Kessinger. So now she's looking at Chris. Would we rather her glare at Shanann and the girls or Chris? Okay, you like this other one? I like this one much better too. Thank you guys. I really appreciate your feedback. You like coffee grounds, Justice? Oh no. We have disagreement. Oh, the Netflix. Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, it's, I know this from just finally, having to decide, Okay. I know this from having to decide what I was going to put in my documentary that's 4 hours long. Just by the fact it's 4 hours long, it tells you that there's way too much. There's so much going on in this case that's relevant. You really have to pick and choose. So I certainly not criticizing Netflix, but yes, Netflix focuses like on us from a certain angle. Hi, Daisy. What's up, honey? Hi. Are you hungry? Got my little Daisy girl here. My little bunny girl. And it is all, you know, they got files and pictures and stuff from the Rusiks. It's definitely very pro Shanann. But I think they did a good job with what it is, you know. Let's go, Lincoln. Where's NK's bikini? Not in a thumbnail because YouTube doesn't like that. The man is a monster no matter what. I'd probably do some memes about him looking like a piñata. That's great. Yes, Nico too. Yeah, Nico. We can't forget Nico, but you know, not for the thumbnail. There you go. That's a Netflix doc. Okay, so we don't care which way Nicole Kessinger faces. That's what I'm getting. So she's looking at Chris, or she is, tell me, Justice, which one? Or she's looking at Shanann and the girls. Which one? And everyone other than Justice A through Z agrees that this picture is better than the coffee ground smoky eye. What do you think, Anaphylaxis? Are you still here? We have, okay, coffee ground smoky eye. Oh, that's not really properly placed either. Or the, I have smooth, supple skin version of Chris Watts. Coffee ground smoky eye, smooth, supple skin. Coffee ground smoky eye, smooth, supple skin. Which one do you like better? You like this one? Okay, cool. Thank you. What do you think, honey bun? Yeah, they do. They use a lot of them verbatim. Yeah. Honey bun, where you go? You like looking at CW at Chris Watts? Okay. Oh, you like the coffee grounds? Oh no, we have disagreement. You like looking at the girls? I think I like that better too, actually. So then here's the other question, honey bun and everyone else. You like coffee grounds because he looks beat up. So now looking at Chris Watts, do we like the smooth, supple skin version or the coffee grounds and smoky eye? Stay over there. Smooth, supple. What? Well, I gotta move that a little bit though. Oh. I have to, yeah. I guess I could make that smaller. I don't know. Once I can't start messing with that right now. It's too late. It's too late. It's too late for me to do that right now. So coffee grounds and smoky eye. That's what we're calling that one. Or smooth, supple skin. Coffee grounds. Smooth, supple skin. Coffee grounds. Smooth, supple skin. Tommy's girls like either, god damn it. Move NK a bit to the left behind Chris. Gotta go grab the bitch. Hold on. Like that. Like that. Half and half because he's two-faced, right? Smooth, smooth. I think the smooth one is a little more eye-catching with devil's horns. The second one. Which one's the second one? Smooth and supple or coffee grounds? But yes, move NK. So you like NK moved over a little bit behind Chris Watts? Should I make her bigger then or no? It's okay to have negative space. No, not bigger, I don't think. I don't know. Like that? Like that? Yes. Yes, NK needs to be staring at him or near him, right? Right. We'll have her near him and staring at them. I feel like that tells a good story. A photo from the funeral she attended, the one where she has a different girth, we'll say. NK smaller back there is good. She looks like she's lurking. Yeah, I think so. Let's see. I've already spent hours on this damn thumbnail, as I do most of them. I really need to like stop being so compulsive or whatever it is. Obsessed. There we go. Yeah, she can't be as, yeah, I think that's good. I think this is it. Hi, guys. Yes, I will make sure you're in front of her. She's doing a Mike Tyson bite his ear. Yes, tells the story. Okay. All right, guys. Oh my gosh. I love to get sidetracked hanging out with you guys, but I do need to go to bed. So I will see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock for the big premiere. And I hope you guys have an awesome night. Thank you so much for giving me feedback on the thumbnail. I really appreciate you. Perfect. Thank you, Tummy's girl. I appreciate you. All right, guys. Have a good night. And remember to do something nice for yourself, like coming to the premiere tomorrow night, and also something else nice for yourself because you deserve it. And I think I'm going to try taking my own advice too, because I'm pretty feel pretty worn down these days. Thanks for everything, Anaphylaxis, Honey Bun, Edward, Cuff You, Deadline Crime Left. I hope I didn't miss any moderators that were here tonight. I don't think I did I? No. Well, anyway, everyone have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.